I'm going to tell you a story about an anxious dog who is no longer anxious. It's a very cool story. Okay, so my sister has a Great Dane, gigantic dogs. They're like 150 pounds. Beautiful dog. I've actually never met her. We live on opposite sides of the country. I've never met the dog. I've met my sister. And the dog hurt herself a couple months ago. I I, I actually have another video about it. I might put it in the in the description below. She hurt her leg in her crate. She has to be crated when my sister goes out. My sister works from home. The dog has never left for more than like 2 hours. Um, and if it's extended periods, she's boarded. She goes to the boarding place twice a week to play, like play days and stuff. She's not left alone. She's got the life and a huge 2-acre backyard. So anyway, but she has to be crated when my sister leaves because she is bad. She's a Great Dane. They're silly and curious, and she's 2 years old. She'll be a puppy like forever. So she had hurt herself. I won't go into that story here, but she hurt herself in the crate. She got tangled up in it and really hurt her leg, which is now about 80% fine. I worked with her, and she's much better. But now my sister says her dog Gemma was anxious. Like apparently she's always been anxious. I didn't know that, but super anxious which puts her in the crate. So when she goes to put her in the crate, she's panting and salivating and just really upset, and is upset when she gets back. And my sister's like, I can't, I feel terrible when I leave her. I have to leave. I mean, what? So she asked me if I could speak with her. And I said, I don't blame her. She got hurt in the cage. She goes, no, this is a new crate. She said, it's huge. I'm like, okay, well, what would you like me to tell her? And she said, tell her the crate is huge. And she can't, even if she rolled over again, like she apparently did before and got caught, she can't, she's safe. She's not going to get caught in this crate. It's huge. And tell her I will never be gone more than a couple hours. I'm coming back. And then she had other stuff about how, be nice to me. I worry about you. I'm like, I'm going to leave that out. We're just going to talk about Gemma. So I said, tell me the next time you're going out. So it's actually like the next day or later that day, something very shortly after. She said, okay, I had to go out. And I'm like, oh, we were already out. Okay, well, so I connected with Gemma and told her what my sister asked me to tell her. I said, I know you've been kind of nervous, and this crate is much bigger. You're safe. I said repeatedly, you're safe. You cannot be hurt in this crate. And I won't say my sister's name, she will be home soon. So don't worry. And in addition to reassuring her verbally or whatever, she didn't hear my words. I also use Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner also. These are two separate modalities, Reiki and animal communication, but I combine them for healing. And I shared my Reiki hands with her, offered to synchronize my breathing with her, asked her to relax. In my experience as a Reiki practitioner for 30 years, it calms the nervous system. It does. So my sister comes home about an hour later. She texts me and goes, holy cow, she's completely calm. So there's no panting, there's no salivating, she's completely calm. It's like, okay, awesome. We're not done yet. Tell me the next time you're going. Tell me in advance. Okay, let's see. And so, I had just given her Reiki and talked to her. So yes, she was calm. Well, let's see if she's going to stay calm. So it was that evening. She went out and she apparently told me like a little bit before, but I had my ringer off because I was working. So I said, oh no, it's like, okay, I just see this now. I'm going to jump in there. She'd been gone an hour and she was going to be gone too. So I showed it to Gemma. She's been gone this long. You're here. She's going to be gone this long more. How are you? She's fine. Talked to her again about being safe. You're safe. You're safe. And I also reminded her that my sister is from Chicago. Huge place, right? And moved down south to a community of 800 people. She knows like probably 600 of them. She's very social. And people love Gemma. She walks down Main Street with my sister, on a leash, this humongous dog. She's like the town mascot. Everybody knows her. In situations where Diana's needed assistance with, checking in on her, taking, no problem. So I reminded Gemma that she has a huge community of people who adore her and that she will never be left. If anything were to happen to my sister and she was going to be late, she'd have somebody come over. Nothing to worry about. You are safe. So I reminded her of that, did more Reiki. Sister came home that evening and said, calm. She's completely calm. I think we're fine. And I went, I am a firm believer in the power of threes. I'd like one more session with her, please. Tell me in advance. And this time I'll actually get there in advance. So it was the next day. She was going on a ride. She and her significant other are cyclists. And so they were going on a 2-hour ride. We were leaving in 15 minutes. I'm like, okay. So I checked in and told Gemma, I don't know what they understand about time. I show time. I try, it's how long she was gone before. That's how you've done this before, this amount of time. And so, and again, you are safe. You are safe. And Reiki, calm and breathe. Sister came home, said, she's completely fine. She's completely fine. And not only that, here's the cool part. Well, it's all cool. But apparently I somehow missed the fact that she's an anxious dog because she's very well behaved and doesn't really get into trouble unless Diane's not there. I'm sorry, my sister's not there. But apparently she's really clingy. My sister said Gemma sticks to her leg and kind of follows her around. So she's not doing that anymore. She said, this is a different dog. All the good things are still there. But the annoying, clinginess and anxiety, she said, it's gone. It's gone. I'm like, wow. So she said she and her significant other were going that weekend, which was last weekend. Well, as I'm recording this, for 3 days to go cycle in the mountains, which is in the same state. And she said ordinarily they would leave Gemma at the boarding place, which is an awesome board. It's also where she does her daycare. At huge yards they play in. It's like but they kind of want her to be with them. But they never brought her because they rent a cabin when they do this. And she'd be in a brand new place and left alone. And they knew that she would be too anxious. They said, but we're going to try it now that she's a new dog and she's so calm. And she won't be left for more than 2 hours when we ride because this town allows dogs in all the shops and restaurants. I'm like, you're kidding. They allow a horse-sized dog in a restaurant? Anyway, so they said, we're going to try it out. Okay. I said, as long as you tell her exactly what's going on, like every step of the way, okay, we're going on a trip. Okay, this is where we're living. And she brought the crate with her that must fold down. And just tell her what's happening. She'll be fine. And she was fine. So, how exciting is this? An anxious dog who was really upsetting the balance of the entire household and was miserable and scared that she was going to get hurt again. When you have a trauma, you can get into a do loop of, fear or anxiety. We do that too. Humans don't let go of it as easily as animals do. They let go much more easily. Plus, it was a fresh trauma. It was only, like 6 weeks, a couple months old. And if I had anyway, the sooner the better. You get involved and reassure. She's completely fine, and it's lasting. So I'm telling you this story because I'm so thrilled with it. It's just so cool. It's just so amazing how Reiki calms the nervous system, and sometimes all an anxious animal needs is reassurance. Sometimes they need other things. So I'm also dropping below a story about a dog, a rescue, who was very, very, very anxious. And then she told me what she needed. I'm not going to ruin the story. And her human gave it to her, and she's fine. So sometimes they have a specific request, but sometimes they just need reassurance, like a child. You hurt yourself. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. It's okay now. We changed it. You're not going to get hurt again. It's not going to happen. And I will always come back. So sometimes that's all they need. It's a big thing. Sometimes that's what they need. So I want to share that with you. in case you have an anxious animal. Um, and there's other situations that need other interventions. But this worked, and I wanted to share that with you. And again, I'm going to I have dropped 2 videos below. And if you want to learn more about my approach to animal communication and or Reiki, you can visit me at wingedhorsehealing.com. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care.